Hey guys, welcome back for another replay analysis today. Today we're doing an analysis for Kent. Kent subscribed to my Twitch channel, so he had access to the sub-only replay analysis channel where he gets to skip the line of all the free ones that are submitted. If you're interested in submitting an analysis yourself, read the description down below. Got all the description or all the details on how to do so, as well as a video tutorial on how to do so. Anyways, Kent says he's currently Champ 2 Division 2 in 3v3. And overall, this is a pretty typical 3v3 game. He's looking to see how he can improve as a teammate. He would love to get GC this season in 2s or 3s. All right, so let's check out the analysis, see if we can point out some ways that he can improve and hit GC. At Champ 2, there's a lot of ways you can improve to hit GC, so I'm sure we'll find plenty of stuff to point out. Let's get into it. Okay, forcing kickoff back right. It's fine with that. This is fine. So far so good. Okay, that turn was a little suboptimal, but small detail. Let's see if we can really say that you could have reacted better. So yeah, definitely turning the wrong direction here. I don't know if you can see that in hindsight, but the ball's bouncing out this direction towards midfield, and we're turning this direction where once we're at the ball, we're going to be facing the wrong way, right? We're going to be, by the time we arrive to the ball, we're going to be having to push it back to our corner if we want to make a safe play here, which is fine. Pushing it to your corner and resetting out of your corner is always a okay play to make. But we didn't have to, right? If we just turned the right direction here, we could have been, by the time we arrived at the ball, facing the correct direction and immediately being able to have an offensive play. So definitely something that you should have done correctly for sure, but not really something to think about. More so probably just like you were already committed to turning the other direction, so no point in like stopping halfway and killing your momentum to turn the other way. Moving on. And I'm not super fond of you turning for this. See this one more time. Yeah, I would say don't turn for this because you can only see two of the opponents here. Right, but when we turn ball cam on, and in this moment in time, we see 2 out of 3 of the opponents. We did see the third one momentarily on our screen, but I think really when your attention sort of focuses on what you can actually see here, you notice there's 2 people on your screen. If you saw all 3 players on your screen here, I would say, yeah, you could turn on it. But because you only see 2 of the opponents here, mentally, you should know, okay, that means the third guy is already rotated back facing the play. There's no way I'm going to get to this ball and beat him. So I'm essentially just wasting my time going for this. I would have just rotated out down the line here for sure. Continue your rotation out. And this guy will probably end up having the next touch, right? He'll try to force the next touch out of this guy back here. Probably isn't going to be able to beat him, so he's just forcing for this guy who's going to be rotating up midfield to have the next touch. Meanwhile, you're rotating back behind him as third man. So just a little bit of awareness of where all of the opponents are in that play. And you would have, if you had better awareness there, realized, okay, the third man I don't see. He's going to be in position for this next touch before I can get to the ball. That's okay. A little ambitious, but I'm okay with it. It's good it's good to push the pace a little bit, be a little aggressive when you're not going to get punished for it, really. Right? Like the last play, you had no chance, but this play, like, you going for that ball is actually threatening. So even if you're going to whiff there, it's still a decent play to try to make. Okay, buy time. Beautiful. Perfectly done. Don't get demoed though. Definitely could have played that a little faster. Yeah, definitely just at this point, once you get in this position, you're just boosting the whole time because you know this guy's going to follow behind you and try to demo you. A very typical play in this scenario while you're trying to bring up the back wall. This guy's going to hunt you for the demo, hoping that he can demo you somewhere on this back wall to where the ball then just centers for his teammates. So definitely when you're executing this play, this was the right play to make. I love this play. You're buying time for your teammates to get back on defense. You're not taking a challenge as last man. Keeping the ball away from the opponents, setting up on the other end. Beautiful play, but you do have to be worried about the demo because you know he's right behind you. As soon as you get in this position, we're not stalling at all. We're holding boost the whole time so we can maintain our distance away from this guy, not get bumped, not get demoed. Yeah. Real close. Might even still be bad. If you had played that out at full speed, you would have been in complete control of this play. Still better than if you had challenged as last man. Still the better play, still the better outcome, but it could have been much better. Tough spot to be in. How do we end up in a 1v3 here? So we spawn in the play, unfortunate. Teammate goes, hits it. Other teammates behind him. Okay, 50 comes out. Another 50 comes out and we slam it off of the sidewall or off of the corner out to midfield. Tough. Not the best 50 by Kilp. Definitely could have got scored on there, but you did nothing wrong. Nice. Okay. Not the best setup. I don't like to point out a ton of mechanical stuff, especially this one. Like, you just went too fast at the ball. You put too much speed into the ball on your touch. You had to really slow down here, kill most of your momentum, and then start. Just put way too much speed into that. And teammate passes them the ball in midfield. That's tough. What, Bless whiffs on his follow-up. Can't tell. Ball cam's off. And then Kilp, unlike what we did in the last play, buying time as last man, he instantly goes, gets a terrible touch to midfield. And again, probably should have got scored on for that. Good job to get the touch. Okay, I'm fine with you leaving this. Also fine with you if you wanted to go for this. Right, if you can react quickly there, you can go for that. Don't have to, but you are sort of pushing the pace here. Like, you're playing a pretty fast game right now. You're being pretty aggressive. Forcing, you know, rushing balls. Not in a bad way, in a good way, where you're instantly forcing the opponents to make their play. So what I'm getting at is, don't mind game your teammates, because you're kind of conditioning your teammates at this point to kind of think that you're gonna play a pretty fast, aggressive play style, and then you're making a play like this where it's a very not fast and aggressive play style, right? A fast and aggressive person would go for this ball here. Sorry if the audio cut out. My cord has a shortage in it. My controller cord cut out for a second there, but yeah, a fast and aggressive player would jump up for this, and so you've kind of conditioned the way you've been playing. You've kind of conditioned your teammates to think you're gonna go for this, and you don't. Not a huge deal. Your teammate behind you has plenty of time to react to this, but something to think about. You know, sometimes I'll spot this in my own games where if I come out playing very fast and aggressive, and then all of a sudden I switch to a more like slower, passive. Where I play out a certain situation slow and passive, it tends to throw off my teammates. If you notice that in your games and you notice that it's like throwing off your teammates, just think about that. Be conscious about that. Maybe when you make a play like this, realize, okay, my teammate might be thrown off by the fact that I'm not ball chasing this ball, that I'm not going for this ball. So maybe I need to like after I rotate out here and I don't go, I should maybe be a little bit more like, I should back up my teammate in case he's like gets faked by me. Play the net or stay close enough to the area that I can go if my teammate backs off too far, something like that. But yeah, you could have, if you wanted to, jump up for this. Try to get a touch towards the wall while we're landing on the wall. It'll bounce off pretty softly, I think, if we execute this correctly, and we can try to follow it up for one more touch or however many more touches we can get. Just an option. Okay, let's see this. So I want to say when I see this, I mean, this is really just an experience thing. It's not really, I can't really explain why, but I would say you would want to sort of hold this position, right? Because hold this position, I would say even slightly pointing towards the sidewall. Because when I see this, my thoughts are a 50-50 that occurs here is going to result somewhere in this region. And if my opponent beats my teammate, it's probably going to loft up towards this area. And if my teammate beats my opponent, it sort of also lands in the same area. So really, that's just a reading of the 50-50 and what could occur here. So yeah, I would say you want to hold your positioning here while waiting for this 50-50. You just end up getting too close. And then once something happens, you're too close to be able to go for it. You have to back up and probably rotate out because, yeah, you just have to rotate out at that point because you've gotten too far underneath the ball, and there's no point in driving back out from underneath the ball and then going again when your teammate could probably just get there before you, facing the right way, having more momentum by the time you do so. So let's see. Yeah, we get too close, and at that point, probably would have just left that play. Boom. Yeah, once that happens and the ball is going to end up behind you, just rotate out. The ball's behind you. You can't get back to it for a really effective play here. Just rotate out. Where was our teammate there? Would he have been in position? Somebody just got that one. It might have been our teammate. Who was our teammate? So he wouldn't have been there. But that premise still stands. Got too close when waiting for the 50-50. 50-50 happened. We couldn't follow it up. We should just rotate it out. Okay, not a great 50-50 there. All right, if we don't drive into this ball, what's going to happen? We're opening up. I pressed the wrong button. It's pretty clear that we're opening up this 50-50 to shoot out this direction. So if we don't flip into this ball or correct our positioning by getting off on this side of the ball, we're shooting it in a pretty dangerous position. It's going to go towards our net, roll up the back wall like it did, to where it's awkward for our teammates to immediately deal with. So really poor 50-50 for sure. Again, kind of just an awareness / experience thing. Either you need to flip into this with like a left speed flip or a left diagonal flip so that you can stay with the ball as it 50s out this way, right? Your car is going to kind of barrel roll with it in this direction. And then you can either take another 50-50 with this guy if he stays too close, or maybe the ball will shoot loose for your teammate in net to come deal with, or maybe you can just deal with it and take possession going upfield. Or again, we get off on this side of the ball, play it safe, and take a 50 towards our corner instead. Either of those options, better than just taking the 50 at this angle, no flip, and then we're forcing the ball towards our net in a pretty dangerous way. Always got to be reading those 50s. Controlling your 50s is a very useful skill. Very one of those skills that is the difference between champion and grand champion. Really quick, I don't usually do this, but hey, spice it up. I'm gonna go to a clip in one of my games recently where you'll see perfectly I control a 50-50 and get it to my teammates. Okay, I lied. I'm not gonna show that because I couldn't find the clip I was thinking of. But you get the point. You are definitely able to control 50-50s and sort of determine or have a better chance of determining where they're going to go. A lot of people think that like you can't develop the skill of 50-50s, but you definitely can. You can get better at controlling where they go. Teammate almost peaked. So let's be careful here. Risky ball to go for. We were pretty slow on going for it. Yeah, we were pretty slow on going for it, and it's pretty, it's pretty hard to tell in this position, but Jay was up before us, and like I always say, if the ball's closer to Jay and he's also up before us, so it's likely he's going to get there before us. So if you had reacted to this instantly and gone, it would be an alright ball to go for. But because you hesitated here, it became not such a good ball to go for. So I guess you could sum that up to hesitation being bad, or you could sum it up to, I would almost want to just say hesitation is what made this a bad challenge, because the rest of it developed so quickly, right? Jay only jumps slightly before you, so it's really hard to react and not go by the time you see Jay go. Yeah, that's really all I gotta say. You just hesitated on going for this and it turned it into a bad challenge. So again, you're like playing very fast and aggressive, which is okay. You actually look pretty good, but that's sort of a play style, right? And with like that play style, part of perfecting that playstyle is cutting out hesitation. If you are playing fast and aggressive, but you're also hesitating, that's when it becomes really sloppy and you end up looking like you're going for balls that you have no business going for. But if you're not hesitating, then most of the time you beat the opponents to the ball if you're playing fast and aggressive. Okay, let's rotate out here. We're super hard rotating into the play for no reason, excuse me. So you've looked really good up until this point, positioning for the most part, rotation for the most part, decision making for the most part, but this is a really bad rotation into the play. So we go for the ball, and then here, boom, we see this. We should instantly be rotating out. We have two teammates back dealing with this play. There's no reason that we need to rush into the play here. What should be occurring here is one of two things. Either our teammate here rotates out behind Killip challenges, our teammate follows him up, or this teammate stays on the ball, forces the ball for this guy back here. Either one is okay in this situation, but what's not okay in this situation is then interjecting ourselves into the same position as well, because there's no boost here for us to grab. The corner boost in the back is going to get snatched up by either this player or our teammate, for sure. And so there's no value of us going to this play here. No value. So let's just rotate out, back post, collecting pads on our way back. Grabbing our back corner if we can, if there's enough time to, and if we need to, with the amount of boosts we've been able to collect on our rotation back, we might not have to take that back corner. We can leave it for a later time. But by rotating into the play here, again, there's no mid boost for us to have value of going for. Plays already being challenged in our corner. We don't need to also go into the corner. We've got somebody playing defense in Kilp. He's ready to go for the next ball. Here you go. Now we realize, okay, let's rotate out. We have no value. You just realized it pretty late here. Definitely could have rotated out a lot sooner. and been picking up pads on our rotation out, and now had arrived to the net at the back post in good defensive positioning with a lot more boost than we end up doing so. Like, we end up in our position at a pretty bad angle, right? I've lately been talking about using wider angles on your rotations. So this isn't terrible, it's just not optimal. So we end up rotating back to net like this and then turning like this, to the point where if something happens in this area that is unexpected, it's going to be really hard for us to deal with it, because at this point we're facing away from the play, and at this point we have no momentum sending us towards the ball because we had to make a sharp turn. We killed all of our momentum turning at such a sharp angle. Whereas if we had rotated wide, back post, out of the play, we would have collected probably, we ended up the way you played it out with 25 boosts in net, we probably could have had 60 plus with the amount of pads we could have picked up, had momentum if we needed to react to something in this area, and just been in a much better position. Okay, first half of the game, your aggressive play style and touches on the ball were all working out really well. Now we're starting to get a little sloppy. We're starting to make unnecessary touches, and we're starting to make bad plays. So, you know, I was singing your praises for being able to play fast and aggressive at Champ 2, and you were doing it really well. It's starting to turn the other way. Let's see if we can clean it back up. So this play comes out. We have 37 boosts. We don't have enough boosts to make an aerial solo play, so there's no point in us popping it up like we did. I would honestly be trying to just... Leaving this is risky because we don't know how close this third man that we can't see is, so I wouldn't say leave this. I would honestly say we're just going for a hard touch here, honestly. It's too risky to leave this because this player could be coming in to take a shot, so we do have to make a touch, but the touch that we make is like a solo aerial play setup touch, and obviously we don't have the boost to do so. So just make a hard touch in this direction, hopefully towards our teammate. Yeah, air roll, jump air roll, and flip into the ball. Hit it as hard as you can, as far as you can off in this direction. Teammate might be able to follow it up, might not, but better play than what we did here, for sure. Yeah. So as soon as you see this, I would have stayed on this ball. As soon as you turn off ball cam and you realize how far away our third man is, then you want to help him out. You don't want to rotate out here because it's hard to explain, but with the speed that you can drive your car, the fastest speed you can move, and the fastest speed he can move to try to close down this distance, rotating out doesn't make sense here because it's just a timing thing. Let me go back one more time. Watch the opponent, watch their speed. Okay, so they're landing about here with a front flip. They're gonna be facing in this direction, and then they can instantly start building speed and moving in this direction. So we recognize that. Ball lands here. At this point in time, the opponent's gonna be really close to this ball. Once I turned off my ball cam, saw how far our teammate was, they're too far away to be able to get to this ball before our opponent can. Our opponent can easily play this past them. And like I was saying, with where you're at, you're not far enough back to be able to cover this player if they get beat. So I want you to stay on the ball, potentially bring it back to the corner like you did on the earlier play where you roll the ball back and play it out of your corner. Or just stay close to the ball, and if the opponent, you're going to back off the opponent, you're going to slow down your opponent's play because they see that you're challenging them. You might have to take a 50-50, controlled good 50-50. You might be able to just make a touch, a soft touch past the opponent as they come to make a challenge, and then stay on it yourself. But the biggest issue here is we see how far away our teammate is, and we decide to rotate back behind them. And it's hard to explain why that's a bad play here. Hopefully you can see what I'm trying to explain. Is the point of rotating behind our teammate is so that they can go and then we can follow them up. But if that happens, if we rotate back and they go, by the time they go, they're in a terrible position to have an effective challenge. And even if they're just forcing the ball for you, you're too far away. You're not going to be back fast enough to be able to follow him up. I think that's the best way to say it. You're not going to be able to be back fast enough to follow him up if he goes. So there's no point in trying to make that play. Instead, stay on the ball, and you're going to force for him. You're going to make his life easier. He's not going to make your life easier because you're not going to be able to be behind him in time. So instead, you're going to make his life easier. Force the ball for him. So one of you two have to force the ball here, and it's going to be you instead of him. Because of, like I mentioned, you can't get behind him in time. Ooh, real close. Nice save. Good play. Secure your boost. Shouldn't have been a goal, honestly. That's fine. I'm fine with you going for the boost here. This happens. Sometimes you trust your teammates to be able to deal with the situation for 2 seconds so you can grab the boost, steal it away from your opponent, and yeah, you should have been fine to grab the boost here. See how this played out, that you end up getting scored on. So really terrible 50-50 from our teammate. Anytime you're taking a 50-50 in this position, I shouldn't say anytime, but let's see that again from his point of view. It's just a really bad 50-50 from our teammate, honestly. Who is that? This guy? Yeah. Yeah. As soon as you see that you are getting challenged here, you don't want to take a 50-50 in this position because one, you can't jump in the position that he's in. He's going to get that effect where he gets sucked into the wall or his jump gets eaten by the wall in this position. That's just an experience thing, honestly. You have to recognize that when this 50 comes through, that's the position you're going to be in. What I would be doing here if I was this guy and I made this play is see that he's there on that sidewall, slow down, and just let him come challenge me. I would not be forcing this into him because, like I said, the timing of when this 50 would occur at that point is in a very, very bad position because we can't jump off the wall in this position because, like I said, he's going to get his flip sucked into the wall. And what we want to ideally be doing here is jumping off the wall so that we can get a 50-50 in the center of the ball, because 50-50 in this position is going to make it do exactly like it did. So we want to jump off the wall and take a 50-50 that way, and flip towards the wall. That way we can control it, we can kill it in this area, and there's really no threat. There's nothing really that could go wrong in that immediate play. So yeah, just a really bad 50-50 from our teammate is what makes this happen. And then, I mean, could our other teammate have been in a better position to deal with it? For sure. This is really bad defensive positioning as well. Again, I'm fine with him being in this position, but when you end up in a position like this and then you're waiting for a 50-50 to occur, you need to be turning around. So when I play this out, what I would be doing here is, okay, I'm getting ready to drive upfield like he is in case he gets a clean beat, right? We want to be able to turn outfield. But as soon as we see we're going to get challenged on this wall, I'm turning here and I'm then putting myself in a shadow defending position. So I'm turning like this. That way, if this happens, we're there to deal with it. We're able to deal with anything that happens in this position, right? So I'm going to turn out this way. I'm still going to be in this position, but I'm going to do a power slide, turn out this way. Ball cam is on, obviously. So we're sitting here facing our net, watching what happens. This happens, boom. We could probably save that. it might still be close because that was a really fast pinch, but I think he could still save that if we're positioned like that. And then obviously if something good happens, we just turn for it. We're not really losing much time. Maybe a millisecond, maybe a couple milliseconds, but definitely better than being positioned like this. 50-50 goes towards our net, 50-50 goes towards midfield. It's behind us. Anybody in midfield can shoot it and it's open net. So yeah, bad plays by both of our teammates while we're trying to grab boosts. Really tough. I feel for you. Happens even in my games. Unfortunate. Yeah. Okay. Not the best touch here, right? Pretty bad touch. We sent it right into the ground. I'm just going to point that out. Bad touch. Try to get this either on target, like no bounce on target, or towards the backboard, or bouncing off of their corner. We got to make a touch that's actually threatening. There's no threat in this touch whatsoever. Something I used to say all the time was every touch we make essentially should be either a shot, pass, or what did I used to say? It's been a long time since I've said it. Every touch that you make in Rocket League should either be a shot in order to put pressure on the opponents. It should be a pass either to our teammate or to ourselves. What was the third one? I think it was a hard clear in like a position where, in an awkward position for our opponent where they can't immediately bang it back to our end. So a touch into open space. I think that's what I would usually say. So yeah, that's something you can definitely think about while playing. I haven't said that in a long time, but it's definitely very true. Every touch that you make should either be a self pass or a pass to a teammate. A shot forces our opponents to have to deal with it. They have to go back to net. They have to use boost. We're giving ourselves the opportunity to force them to double commit, break down their defense, use their resources, etc. Or it should be a touch into open space that they can't immediately just hard clear back to our end. So that was definitely a good scoring chance, honestly. Maybe play a little bit of 1v1s or just go in training and work on your flicks. This is a good 1v1 opportunity. You have the chance to take a really threatening flick here or an air dribble bump. Bottom line is what I'm getting at is recognize that this is like one of the best chances you've had all game to score, and in order to rank up, you got to start taking advantage of your opportunities. The more opportunities you let slip that you don't take advantage of, the least likely you are to rank up. So it's a tough reality, but it's a true reality that you need to take the opportunities you're given, and this is one of them. This should have been a one-on-one. This should have been a good 45-degree flick, air dribble bump, probably either of those two. Would have been a really good chance. Okay. Again, sort of the same thing I was talking about earlier. Taking a sharp angle towards net on our rotation back. Notice our rotation. We're beelining to the back post. Right? We're rotating back post, which is what you want to do, but you're beelining towards it. And what that's doing is this exact situation, like I was talking about before, when a ball bounces out in this area, in order to go for it, you have to do a sharp turn. And I'm even not even, my muscle memory is making me swing towards this at a wider angle than you're taking it. You're literally like this, straight beeline for it. And so to go for this ball, you have to turn on the spot, kill all of your momentum, and then you're just getting beat to this ball because you have no pace towards it. Whereas if we are going back a little bit, following you on your rotation here, instead of beelining for the back post like that, let's stay on this path of pads here, rotating through like this, and then maybe coming in for these pads here, and then we're arriving like this, right? We haven't lost any of our momentum, and we may have even been able to have came in at this last pad here and came in like this. And then we have all of our speed and momentum still, and we can instantly jump for this ball. Have more boost because we stayed on pads. And we're just in, again, a much better position. And also on your landing, you also end up turning out the wrong direction initially. So boom, you end up turning out towards the corner boost that you're facing now. I don't know if that was just maybe how you landed, you sort of spun out maybe. But yeah, the main point is we're rotating very sharp towards our back post. We're rotating at like a straight line towards our back post. We want to be taking these wider approaches as we're rotating back, wider angles. Now I'm not saying go all the way to the mid boost and circle back at the corner boost. That's too wide, that's too slow, too wide. But we want to not be going straight here to where then in order to turn for the ball, we have to kill all of our speed and momentum. We want to take this rotation just wide enough to be able to pick up pads as we're rotating back. And then by the time we arrive, we're facing the play and we can instantly go for the ball if we want to. And again, have more boost as well. So you definitely got to be careful here. You're not paying attention to the fact that somebody is behind you and they could definitely go for a demo here, right? This guy that we just saw drive into our corner, our opponent, very common play at this rank and higher is for him to rotate back behind you and demo you. Because he sees clearly that his teammate's going to have the next touch. He's got lots of time to go for a demo. There's no harm in him going for a demo here. He knows his teammate's gonna have the next touch. He doesn't have to rotate back to defense immediately. And so what you'll see here a lot is if there's a player behind you, they're gonna go for a demo on you. So you gotta be more aware of the fact that he's behind you. Sort of just left yourself very open to it. You weren't even thinking about that. Pick up that pad in front of us and then drive out this way. We're forcing him to be in front of us so we can see him. We can see his shenanigans. We're not gonna get demoed by him. Bad touch, but yeah, bad touch for sure. Why is that a bad touch? Well, obviously it lobs it up in front of our net. Maybe you're thinking you're trying to pass this to Bless. In which case, honestly, if we want to pass this to Bless, slightly more mechanically demanding. But if I wanted to pass this into open space off in this direction for Bless, I would be jumping and air rolling. Just single jump, air roll facing our car in this direction, our car in that direction, and then we flip the ball off in this direction. Slightly more mechanically demanding. I think you could manage it. And we don't get this really bad touch. And maybe this was like a hard clear attempt. Maybe you weren't even trying to pass this to our teammate to our right. In which case, just a bad touch. And not really controlling that 50-50. Right here in this position, what I would want to see you do is either single jump behind the ball, and then as you 50 it, do a speed flip off in this direction to try to force the ball in this direction and past him, and you have enough boost to play the ball afterwards. Or we're just single jumping behind the ball, trying to kill it straight where it's at. So we're just literally single jumping and just hitting the ball with our nose, slightly pointed towards the ground, so that hopefully the ball just stays where it's at. Oh, ooh, close, man. Ooh. Oh. That's just experience. Thought we could get to that ball, definitely couldn't. Yeah, definitely can't reach this ball in time. Somewhat just an experience thing. That'll come with time, recognizing when you can and can't reach something before you even attempt to go for it. That really hurts, because if we read that we can't go for this, we can be where Bless is, right? We can just circle back around, catch the ball on the back wall, make a aerial play, catch the ball, maybe have space to start a dribble. But essentially now it's taking two players to make what should have. It's taking two players to make the play that should have only taken one, right? Bless has to come help you. When ideally we dealt with this ourselves. Bless was getting boost, getting ready for the next play, but he wasn't able to do so because he has to come and make this touch, and then he even fails to make that touch as well. So that's really on us. That's really on us for misreading that ball and going for it when we had no chance of reaching it. Five seconds. Ball's in the air. 0 second play. Good effort at the end there. So yeah, the first half of the game was definitely better than the second half. First half of the game, you looked really good. And then I think it was around the 2.5 minute mark, literally halfway through the game, when things started going south. Your aggression was starting to not be clean aggression, right? There's a difference between clean aggression and bad and dirty aggression, I guess we could call it. First half was really clean aggression, going for the balls that you should go for, no hesitation, good rotations, good decision making on when to go, when not to go. And then second half, we started hesitating, getting to balls late, making bad touches on balls. One of the most recurring issues we saw was, one, taking really bad 50-50s. We need to get better at controlling our 50-50s and sort of having more of a input on how it's going to occur, right? You can definitely get better at controlling your 50-50s and manipulating them to your advantage. 1v1, as much as everyone hates to hear it, 1v1 is great for that. You take a lot of 50-50s in 1v1. Play some private match 1v1s with one of your friends. You don't have to play ranked. You don't have to get, tilted that you're losing MMR and ranked. Even though my current 1v1 rank is like just under 1,000 MMR. Like my 1v1 rank is really low right now because I have not been playing 1v1 with the intent of winning. I've been playing 1v1 with the intent of pushing myself to do things that I'm uncomfortable with. And that's how you should really be approaching playing 1v1 when you play them. You shouldn't care about your MMR. All you should care about is going for things that you are uncomfortable going for. Now, I'm not saying do the craziest things, right? There's a range of that, right? If this is your comfort zone, you want to push yourself just outside your comfort zone. You don't want to try to go this far out of your comfort zone to where you're just being a fool. But, go for those plays, those mechanical solo plays, flip resets that you normally would be like, okay, what's the probability that I'm actually going to pull this off correctly? Really low, so I'm not going to go for it. You should be playing 1v1 with the intent of going for those things that you could go for, but you usually don't because it's a low percentage play. Try to turn those low percentage plays into higher percentage plays because you get better at executing them. That's what 1v1 is for. And then you bring that into your 2s, into your 3s games. Second most recurring issue was our rotations back to net were really sharp, right? We were going to the back post, which is good, but we're beelining it to the back post. We want to be rotating more circular, more round, taking wider angles. Again, gives us a better field of view on the bounce after it occurs off of our back wall. We have a better angle on the play. We can see more of the field because we're not, our back isn't to the field. Our side of our car more so is towards the midfield, and it just gives us a better POV. Gives us, we maintain our momentum. We maintain our momentum as we're rotating back to net. If we need to instantly go for something, we can. We are able to collect more boost pads on a rotation back. And yeah, lots of benefits to not rotating to the back post at such a sharp angle where we're just literally beelining from point A to point B. Not much to work on. Honestly, you looked like you could be in GC right now, honestly, for the most part. At least champ 3, high champ. I think mid to high champ 3 is definitely within your range right now. Just got to keep grinding. Everybody loses games. Wasn't too tough of a loss. If you liked the video, be sure to leave a like on the video. Leave a comment down below what you agreed with, what you didn't agree with. Maybe you spotted something that I missed. Leave it down in the comment below. Subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.